Well, hello, my beautiful Leo. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for the end of September, right through the end of October 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about to pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, I've just brought back the competition for one subscriber to win a free personal reading from me, but I'll let you know how to win that a little bit later on because some people are here just for the reading and I don't like to waste anyone's time. So with that in mind, let's get straight to your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Leo, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome. But what is clear is that there is going to be a change of pace over the next coming weeks and months there for you, a flurry of activity. Also, something about an alarm is coming through here. So either some of you are going to be setting your alarm earlier, or perhaps there's going to be some sort of fire drill or something that perhaps you're going to have to navigate during the next coming weeks if you perhaps work in a company, for example. So just bear that in mind. But I feel more than anything, it's about your alarm clock. That's something that's coming out there. So either you're going to be changing the time that you get up for work, okay, whether that's earlier or later, I'm not sure, but I definitely see a change of pace for you over the next coming weeks. And of course, you're going to be super busy. So let us get to your cards and see what else is coming out there for you. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Leo? What do they need to know right now regarding their career and their finances? Can you please show them the way? What are they meant to be aware of? Can you please highlight? So the World card is your protagonist energy. So you're very goal-oriented over the next coming weeks. Action-packed. You're trying to fit it all in when you look at the World energy. Also, you're going to be in the right place at the right time for opportunity. There is some sort of completion aspect to what you're going through over the next coming weeks. So, you know, completing tasks and responsibilities to a very high degree, perhaps finishing projects there. Interesting. For some of you, the alarm clock energy can be that, well, certainly a lot of you are setting the alarm clock earlier, but some of you, I gotta tell it to you straight, as soon as I saw these two cards, I thought, oh my gosh, someone is going to sleep through their alarm. So this may be a little bit of a nudge to set a secondary alarm if you have something important coming up for the next coming weeks or months there, whether it's an important meeting or review or something that you have to attend. I feel like you're exhausted. You have the Hermit there, so it can indicate that a lot of you have been running on empty when it comes to your career. You're showing up, bringing your A game, but it's a lot. So if you have something important over the next coming weeks, set a secondary alarm, because there may be a moment where you don't hear the first one, or, you know, when you're in that kind of like hazy sleep and you quieten the alarm and you go 5 more minutes. And then 2 hours later, you're like, what? Oh my gosh. And you leap out of bed, okay? Because that Fool card is a leap, okay? So I just want you to be aware of that. Now, let's get the rest of your cards. I mean, the World card can indicate that, of course, you know, you're looking at expiry dates or rolling contracts on services or perhaps contracts with clients, or something that is ongoing. You may be completing it, but then on to the next stage of it. So for example, some of you, it could be the end of year accounts. You know, if you run your own business, it could be that you're getting everything finalized, everything all together, all the receipts, all the documents, in order to outsource it to an accountant or do your own accounts. I mean, looking, a lot of you, you got the World card energy, a lot of you are doing it all, okay? So I'm sending you a huge hug out there if that's you. But also it can be that you are looking at endings of contracts of perhaps goods or services that you normally utilize. And you may be kind of clearing things down, if that makes sense. So you may be, of course, having lots of projects on the go, little bits that you need to adhere to just to keep everything running smoothly when it comes to your career. But also, there can be this energy of you kind of like, okay, you know what, this service is not something I need going forward. So you may be, you know, putting an end to a subscription or some sort of financial commitment, as it were, that you feel, okay, you know what, I don't utilize that anymore, or the service has changed and it's not something that benefits me because I see you having more money. So with something coming to an end, with that Queen of Pentacles coming after the Knight of Pentacles, it can be that you're cutting a service or you're winding something down that actually brings in more money for you or allows you to save a little bit more money. Now, this can be, you know, if you run your own business, it could be something that perhaps helps you reinvest in your company. Or if you are someone who works for a company and you're working, you know, in partnership, it can be that there's a small increase in finances coming in for you, or you get told about some sort of potential bonus or raise for your future. There could be some sort of review going on there because there is a Judgment card. So a lot of you could have a very important meeting or review this period, or perhaps it's just you reviewing your finances. You know, it can be that personally you're looking at things that you need that are a necessity in your life and things that you don't need, so that you can actually, you know, pour your resources into things like 401ks or savings, pension pots, and, you know, just a rainy day fund for some of you, because it seems like you may be locking off, you know, a little bit of finances there if you're lucky enough to do so. But I see an increase. So this could be, you know, brainstorming new ideas in order to make more money, or launching something that brings in extra finances. There's a lot going on. I mean, you're starting with the World card, my beautiful Leo, so you're looking at the bigger picture right now, and you're thinking about your financial future, but also you're in action mode. You're like working diligently. There is a celebration, some sort of win coming on in here for you as well. Let me just lock off this deck over here for you. I'm going to pop this over here. Okay, so we've got a little bit more space. Okay, so your first card there is the World. You're doing it all, and you may feel a heaviness with that as well. But this card can indicate that you have a certain goal in mind, or something maybe time sensitive that you are working towards. Could be a deadline. Maybe you need to get something in. You will complete it to a high degree. You'll get it done efficiently, is what I'm seeing there. But also the World is about your abundance. So you're focused on your finances and maybe all of your acquisitions. Now, this could be that you're focused on, you know, the bigger picture as to what you own, or, you know, what you are trying to own. So if you have real estate, or you're trying to forge a way into, you know, purchasing your own property, it can be that you're looking at financially how much you have got going on there, and, you know, what everything is worth, because this can be like a sum of all things. Okay, so it can be that you're looking at things like that right now and trying to protect your finances should there ever be any sort of like economic wobble there as well. Now, of course, the World card can be something that is completed. So it can be like documents, surveys, maybe you're putting in a permit for something. It will go through successfully is what I'm seeing there. Also, if you're applying for something, I definitely see that you're going to be very successful. Now, if you've come to this reading, thanks so much, I'm truly grateful. My guide said talk about that in a moment. I will, because they want me to talk about things like insurance first, okay? So if you run your own business, your insurance could be coming up or coming to an end of its term, and you may need to renew this because there's definitely an end and a new beginning here. So this may be a friendly nudge to keep on top of that. But also if you perhaps on a personal level, need to, renew some house insurance or some sort of car insurance or something there that's connected to insurance, because my guides want me to talk about that first. This, again, is a friendly nudge to do that. Also, if you're traveling or you are thinking about, completing everything right now, you're super busy because you're going to take a vacation, I would say check the expiry dates on visas, passports, things like that at this time, because this is very much something coming to an end, and the Fool card is to renew, okay? So it could be you renewing a subscription or even finding alternative service providers or subscriptions elsewhere. Something that, will put more money in your pocket, so you may find something that is better in terms of its price. I mean, everything seems to be overpriced and inflating by the day at this moment in time. So I feel you get a better deal, shall we say. So even if you are, there's a lot of pentacles here. So of course you're financially focused, but it can be that there's something practical that perhaps you may be looking at on a personal level in your home space, because we have that Queen of Pentacles there, which is all about domesticity. There could be a service there where you find a better deal, say on like your water provider or your energy provider, or something that perhaps you can do better elsewhere. And you may even, for some of you, call like customer services, and because the Tower is there, I feel more than anything you're kind of highlighting that you're going to leave if you don't get a better deal. That's something that's coming through there. So it can be that you negotiate a better deal by saying, you know what, I'm off. And then just when you're off, suddenly they come in with a better deal for you to save your business. They want to connect, because the Queen of Pentacles is to conserve, okay? And we got the Three of Cups there, which is a unity, a togetherness. So it can be that last minute they come in and say, actually, we don't want to lose your business. We can do this small deal for you. It's a one-off. Don't tell anyone about it, but actually tell everybody about it. Share it with your family or friends, because I feel this is you getting a better deal, because, you're the customer, you're the client. So this is about knowing your worth and knowing that you deserve a better deal, especially in terms of loyalty if you've been with a company for a long time. Okay, so that just had to come through from my guides before I move on, okay? Now, for some of you, this is what I was going to talk about that I banked, that my guides asked me to talk about insurance and all of those things first. This card can indicate that some of you have left a job or a position, or it can be that you were made redundant, okay? And if you're searching for a job, firstly, I'm sending you a huge hug out there, because I know it is challenging on the job market right now. And with that Knight of Pentacles energy and the Six of Swords, this can indicate that, you're trying to work hard to put yourself out there. And that Six of Swords indicates that you are protected, or you're protecting your finances at this time, but you're going to be guided towards a new position. So if you're looking for a job, I feel there is actually a Three of Cups energy, which means you connect to like a family feel company where you're really like celebrated, where you really fit in, where you're excited to join, and there is a unity there. And also, you get an opportunity to staircase your finances. There's a new start. It may come out of the blue because there is a Tower there for you, okay? I will pull a card on that Tower just to see what's going on there, because ultimately the Tower is not a negative card, it's a surprise. So it can be that you've been stuck in a loop for a while, searching for a job, maybe not hearing back for a while, there's radio silence, or, you've been worried. Maybe you've had some interviews and they've just not gone the way you'd hoped for. That means you're being guided to something that is right for you. Sometimes doors will close because they're not meant for you. And it doesn't mean that, you're failing or that you're not doing well in the interviews. It means the universe is trying to guide you to this awesome opportunity that basically ticks a lot of boxes for you when it comes to your sense of purpose and how you earn your finances, okay? So we have the Hangman. Yes, you've waited for some time. For some of you, this could also be that you wait for a little while before you actually hear the news that you get something, because we have a Five of Pentacles here. Five of Pentacles is a bit of worry. So it can be that, with that Hangman energy, you wait after an interview, and the Five of Pentacles can indicate you wait a considerable amount of time, and you feel, oh, I didn't get that one either. Gosh, what is going on? And you may feel a little bit low vibe. Don't worry, because with that Six of Cups, you're going to be returning for an interview. And for some of you, if it is a second interview and you still don't hear, the Six of Cups indicates there's going to be something offered to you. That's what a Six of Cups is, a gift offered to you that'll bring you peace, you know. This is where you will fit right in. And for some of you, not all of you, but some of you, there may be, you know, someone that you know, a childhood friend or someone that perhaps you used to work with who can actually tell you about an opportunity that's coming on in, but there's a bit of a wait. It's like the opening hasn't quite occurred yet. And, you know, they may put you forward, if you're interested, of course, in this role. So I feel like the Tower can be that suddenly you break free from feeling stuck when it comes to work. And we've got that Fool card, which is a brand new start. For some of you, there can be this energy that, you know, you're migrating your skill set, okay? Because it feels a lot like you're returning to something that you kind of love doing, but at the same time, it's different. I'm not sure how, but that's what's coming through. You'll discover that when you know, seal the deal there. And, you know, this is an opportunity to multiply wealth because the Queen of Pentacles, she multiplies. So I feel this is a role that has a lot of status. There's an independent side to it, so it feels like you're apart. So it can be that you work well as a team, but also alone sometimes. So that's coming through as well. And for some of you, you were in a period of pause regarding the working environment because you were to get something independent off the ground. So if you have an idea and you're learning, you know, new skills there, because of course the Hangman is about new knowledge, I would say continue to, you know, be curious about that line of inquiry because I feel like you're going to be independent, you know, in your future. So I'm just going to leave it like that, okay? Now, for some of you who are independent workers, of course, you're doing it all. If you have your own business, whether it is, you know, a small creative business that's growing, because I see you expanding, a lot of you could be getting, you know, your word out there and go global or have some sort of marketing or announcements or promoting your work. And I feel, you know, you may utilize the internet in some way, especially since swords are there. That's all connected to the ether. Six of Swords is like going overseas or having some sort of overseas connection, and you have the world there as well. So this can indicate that if you work for yourself, you may be promoting yourself or marketing at this time in order to expand your reach when it comes to your business, and it's going to be very fruitful. People love what you do, what you're about. There's more money coming on in, and also you will have returning customers, people who celebrate through word of mouth. You will have people coming on in for your business, and it may shock you because the pace is changing, okay? And it actually may lead you to new avenues of inquiry. So it could be that it opens up new pathways, new clients, new countries, new ways of working, which is very exciting for you there as well. Now, if you work for a company and you're just like doing you, some of you may feel that something has run its course, okay, and you may be putting your resume out there, searching for new opportunities. Again, I feel like there's a new one coming on in that's very exciting. It brings in more money. So I feel like you're keeping your eyes peeled for better opportunities to staircase financially, but also in terms of your status. I feel there's a role that has a new title with more power or more responsibility being offered to you at some point. You may see this and go for an interview for this and then give in your notice because you're going to be hired in the new position. So that's something that's quite exciting and coming on in there for you, okay? Now, also the World card, some of you could be thinking about retirement. Now, this can indicate a lot of you are thinking about your 401ks and your pension pots, but also some of you are literally thinking about when is the right time to retire, or you could be winding something down at this time in order to retire, or maybe move on to a different focus. And I feel if you are retiring, of course, you're going to have a wonderful time. You know, I feel like this is your time to invest in yourself. I feel like you've set yourself up in a way where money will come on in and you're going to be secure because the Queen of Pentacles there is secure, okay? And you may start to either search for soul tribe members and connect to activities and hobbies and things, projects that you've been meaning to get around to, but also connect to new people, get more involved in the community. So I feel you may shock a lot of people by saying, okay, I'm retiring now. Okay, you've been thinking about this for a long time. You've got secret plans as to when that's going to happen. You're going to love it. Okay, so you may feel with the Fool card it's a risk, but actually the Queen of Pentacles is covering. So I feel like, you've put yourself in a position, yourself to be secure. Okay. Now with this Knight of Pentacles, I mean, everybody, no matter what you do, you're working really hard, okay? Knight of Pentacles indicates you're a hardworking person, you're proceeding with integrity, there's true perseverance here, and you're being very careful with your finances. This is you being in the flow towards prosperity, but also you're acting efficiently. So I feel a lot of you may be working really hard and getting all the projects done, trying to get ahead of yourself because there's some sort of travel here, okay? These two cards can be that either you've just come back from a vacation and now you're hitting the ground running with lots of new ideas, new energy, new spirit, but also it can be that you're booking your next vacation or you're looking forward to your next break and you're working really hard to stay on top of things in order to take that trip. Especially if you work for yourself and you have to do it all, it can be that you're trying to get ahead of yourself so you can have like a proper kind of break where you switch off, which is unusual when you run your own business. You do everything, you're working 24/7 and your mind is always on your business because of course you care and it is your, business. So with this Six of Swords, I feel like you're protected during some changes or challenging times in the working industry or in the kind of sector that you work in. And I feel, of course, a lot of you are juggling responsibilities. Some of you may travel for work as well. There may be something suddenly that comes in that you have to travel to a different branch, or for some of you, there may also be a sudden talk about relocation, or if you run your own business, it could be that you're sourcing an alternative location that is cheaper and a better deal, okay? There's not many of those out there, so it may be a real good gift from the universe there, but you will find it. You'll hunt it down and you will find it if that's you right now. Also, some of you may be looking at global events or world economics, for example, and looking at where you feel there's a better deal for you and your company if you are independent. So you may be looking at financial structures elsewhere, as it were, in order to conserve your finances. So some of you may be thinking about migrating your business, or perhaps, looking at the financial aspects of doing business abroad in some way. So you may be looking at the legalities of that at this time, if that makes sense, okay? Now, Six of Swords indicates you may have been under a lot of pressure and really tested recently, but you're coming out of that period now. You are protected and redirected. I mean, there is a calmness about the beginning of October for you, but it feels also like there's a flurry of activity where things get a lot busier there. The Hermit in this position can also indicate some of you are thinking of going solo, running your own business, setting something up, maybe even from home with these two cards. So it could be something that's on your mind right now. This could be something that complements what you do already, because there seems to be two kind of sources of income there, and the Judgment in between can indicate that you're in between worlds in some way. So it can be that you're doing two things or have two streams of income, or maybe this is something that you're brainstorming at this moment in time and thinking about. I mean, the Hermit is to go solo, or for some of you, if you run your own business, it can be exhausting because you have to do it all. But the most exhausting thing, I feel, as we mature through any stage of our life, whether you work for a company, whether you work for yourself, whether you're searching for a role, it's to remain inspired, okay? So I feel a lot of you could be going back to the drawing board on something in order to remain inspired, or if you have been through some challenging times in your working industry, the light is firmly at the end of the tunnel, okay? Also, the Hermit is new knowledge. So a lot of you, there is an indication here that you may be building on your skill set by acquiring new knowledge at this time. And the Judgment energy indicates that you're reaching for a new life or a new way of working. That's why I'm so excited to see the Hermit there. So some of you could be squirreling away, off grid, or just not telling anybody about your plans. It can be that you're working on something in secret or keeping something to yourself at this time, but you're reaching for more, okay? And the Judgment card normally means that you're letting go of something in order to sort of attach yourself to something else. It's a renewal card. So a renewal of faith, a renewal of contracts, or a renewal of momentum there. But also it is a reevaluation. So you may be examining where you feel like you're at in your industry right now and how you can double down on that and move forward. You know, the Judgment card is a bit of a wake-up call, especially when you have it with the Tower. So the Tower can be surprise or shocks. So there could be some surprise or shock change going on in your industry. I feel it's something that kind of sets you free or helps you manage things a little bit more, okay? Because the Fool card popped out with it. So this is something that's positive, and it brings you to a new direction that you're more enthusiastic about. But there could be some rules and regulations or some sort of structure that is changing, and you may have to adapt to these changes. So it could be that you have to fill in new forms, or you have to do something that is different. And, you know, don't worry about it because you've got this and it's fine. It just works in your favor, but it may be like extra work, or it may be an extra step, if that makes sense. So that's coming through there as well. Now we have the Seven of Swords, okay? Because the Seven of Swords is in the resistance position, I don't see anything really negative connected to this. But what I would say is, you know, if you're launching something new, or you have, you know, a new invention, or, you know, you're putting something out there, copyright it, trademark it, make sure you protect it, because this can be, you know, theft of intellectual property in some way. So just be a little bit mindful of that. But also, this is a card of independence. This can indicate that you're marching to the beat of your own drum. So even if, you know, you work in a group, during the next coming weeks, you may do something differently or try to implement some sort of new way of working that just makes you feel inspired. You're maybe even approaching like a project in a new way with different ideas. And of course, some of those ideas may be met with a little bit of tension. And that can mean that you're a threat to someone who's in a position of authority. So be diplomatic in the way that you deliver these new ideas. Sometimes if you want change, and this is unfortunate actually, but sometimes if you want change and you're in a position to kind of speak your truth and put some implemented changes in motion, but perhaps you have a boss, for example, and your boss is like, you're stepping on my toes, and therefore it could be a bone of contention. Sometimes the best way forward is diplomatically, you know, put some ideas out into ether and almost make it like it was their idea. So ultimately you benefit from the changes because it makes your work go more efficiently, but at the same time, you put it in a way that makes it feel like they're in charge. And I hate that sometimes we have to do that, but this is a card of diplomacy. Wanting to do something differently, but finding an alternative way to do it. But if, for example, you are confronted with this and you don't have the power to kind of like pull rank on it, for example, I feel the best way around is to make it almost like it's their idea. Like, wow, that was a great idea, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? And, you know, so there's something like that coming out that perhaps you'll have to face over the next coming weeks and months there. Also, for some of you, there is an energy here of like, having a heart-to-heart. If you have clients in your business, there may be a heart-to-heart where there's a very diplomatic conversation that goes on. Because what I'm seeing here is that if you run your own business and you have people working for you, there could be a misstep or a mistake. It's a genuine mistake because the Seven of Swords means in this position that it was not meant. It was not malicious, okay? And you may have to go over something, or you may have to reach out to a client or someone and say, oh, I'm really sorry. That error will never occur again. You know, we dropped the ball on this, but it feels like it wasn't your mistake. So some of you, even if you work for a company, you work with a group of people, you know, it could be that you have to cover for someone, or that you kind of confront something and have to change it or go over it. I mean, for example, if some of you have gone on a vacation and you're coming back to work now after a period of, you know, someone else taking over some of your projects, you may notice a mistake that you have to go over. And I just feel like you maybe privately confront this person, not in front of everyone, because you don't want to embarrass this person. You're like, hey, look, there were some errors, okay? So if you need some extra training, then, you know, I'm here for it. Don't worry about it. But I just want you to be aware for next time, because this could have got critical, but luckily we caught it. You know, there's a diplomatic way to kind of like approach something in the working environment. So, you know, you foster a relationship where you can all work together. That's what that Three of Cups is, like everyone working together. And this person is going to be like, you know what, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you not like shouting it out and making it, you know, obvious that I'm not as efficient as you at something, or that they have inexperience in some area. This will foster a relationship as you move forward, okay? And for some of you, you know, if you are an independent worker and you have your own company, it could be that someone that you outsource some of your work to has perhaps made an error or a mistake. I mean, everyone has an off day, right? We've all got stuff personally that we're all going through. And although you may be a little bit annoyed by it, I mean, looking at the energy, you're not annoyed by it, okay? You're just kind of like, oh gosh, okay, let's just go over this. But I feel that, you know, the way you handle this just fosters a better relationship. And this person's going to go above and beyond for you later on. Maybe even some freebies in the future. And that's not why you're doing it, but I'm highlighting that if you work well together and say, look, we're in a partnership together, we all want the same thing. We all just want to make money and pay our bills and feel secure and, you know, look after our family and all of this stuff. You know, it's like, okay, there's a misstep. Someone had an off day or didn't see something, and it's like, okay, it's no biggie, we can move on. So that's something that you may actually come across over the next coming weeks and months there, okay? Now, also, we have that Tower energy, okay? Oh, thank you so much, I'm sure grateful. Just be a little bit mindful of, if you work in an environment, I mean, even if you, like, take your laptop to a cafe, or if you work in a company and you're just so used to putting like your wallet or purse or phone on a desk, just be a little bit mindful. Seven of Swords can be an opportunist who sees something and goes, oh, I'll take that, thanks very much. So just watch out for that, okay? I'm not saying be paranoid. It feels like when something isn't being secure. I mean, with the Hermit, it can be that there's only one person at a set of desks and they just miss it. They don't see someone being an opportunist. Or it can be that, you know, when you're alone, someone, you know, it's like you're distracted and then someone just swipes it. There's nothing, I feel with the Judgment energy, you kind of catch it before it happens, but it's something to be mindful of. Okay, so I'm just going to move away from that energy. We have the Tower. Now I'm going to pull a card on this specifically for the outcome energy, because the Tower can be that you're a tower of power. It can be that, you know, you blow a project out of the water, everyone celebrates, because we've got that Three of Cups. It can be that something comes to an end and you're like, so glad that's over, okay? Because it feels like whatever this is positive. This is like a bolt from the blue. It can mean that you're elevating, you're going to the top. It can be that you're smashing through a financial glass ceiling in some way, because we have that Queen of Pentacles, which is multiplying wealth or some sort of opportunity that makes you feel secure, okay, or comfortable in your circumstances. So let me just pull a card on that Tower. For some of you, this could be a potential for something to get critical, but actually you save the day. And I've mentioned that already. But the Tower can also be like two people having disagreements and, you know, there being a little bit of tension that comes to a climax. So let me just pull a card on this. Whatever it is, it just feels like it's positive for you because you've got a Three of Cups. Something that has been building up over time perhaps comes to a really positive. We got the Five of Wands, challenge. So someone could confront you on something or challenge you, but also it can be that something has been hard won, something that has been difficult. If you know the Five of Wands, there's 5 figures there, you know, all trying to create a star, and it looks really clunky at first. So it can be that there's a gear shift going on for you, but it all comes together. Okay. Some of you may even challenge yourself. We got the Judgment. So it's connected to this Judgment energy. So something could surprise you in the working environment. I mean, for some of you, it could be that you notice someone doing something perhaps that is a little bit sneaky in the working environment. Maybe you're keeping your eye on it, or maybe you judge this person on it, okay? You could actually challenge this person like a whistleblower on it, okay? But again, be diplomatic about the circumstances, because this person has a way of twisting words and they could actually turn this around. So just be a little bit mindful. And I'm just highlighting something, okay? Because my guides are giving it to me like this. So they're giving me the word disrespect first off, okay? But my guides are saying, if you've caught someone doing something, for example, and you confront them on it, they could turn it around like, why are you on my back? You're always like this. What, this is just, and you could like then raise your voice to match this person. And then people are like looking at you like you're the person who's got the problem. You're the person everyone's looking at. So just be a little bit mindful. Diplomacy is the key to the situation so that it doesn't escalate, okay? So just watch out for that. Yeah, that's just coming out there, okay? But the Judgment and the Five of Wands, for some of you, you may be in this evaluation period where you're like, okay, I'm stuck in a rut. I've reached a certain level. I want to reach for more. So there could be you, as I said, smashing through a limitation or a restriction in some way. The Five of Wands can be that you want to challenge yourself more, or you're going through a period of training. You launch yourself on some sort of course where you train in something, and that Judgment card is you, as I said, reaching for more, and it means that suddenly, you take a risk, you go for it, and you elevate. You surprise people by saying, you know what, I've got this qualification now, I'm off, or I'm going to elevate into a new position. But the Fool card, whatever it is you're doing, it ripples out into the rest of your working environment in your life. The Fool card is new beginnings, taking a leap of faith, taking a risk on something. For some of you, it can be that you're launching something, a build up over time, that finally you're ready to just get it out there. And of course, you may surprise a lot of people, but actually you're going to be very successful. Don't know why they're surprised, but you know what you're capable of. But the Fool card is, you kind of having fun with something, enjoying it. And of course, it is a new beginning. The Fool card can be that over time you're refining something and now you have a new way of doing something, especially since you have that Tower. It could also be that, the buildup of work that you've been meaning to get round to, suddenly you complete it and now you feel free. This can be that you're working harder in order to get something done so you can have more free time and more time to get on to other things. Also, a lot of you, there's a cat right there, which highlights a lot of you are trying to be more independent in your finances, but also more independent in your working environment. So this could be a new role coming on in that surprises you. A new kind of like status there where you are more independent, or you're working more in a managerial role, or a role where you have more responsibility, and you'll dip into teamwork occasionally, but you may be overseeing something for some of you. But also, if you are an independent worker, this could be that you are launching a new line of something, or perhaps you are retiring some sort of product that, has run its course, or you want to go in a different direction, or you want to revamp something in some way. And, suddenly everybody loves it. Suddenly everyone wants to invest in it, because this is you multiplying your wealth, okay? And I feel this is about you being secure in your finances and basically being the architect of your dreams, being committed to something that bears fruit and attracting more opportunities as you go. Also, the Queen of Pentacles is very savvy with finances, so it can be that right now you are cultivating good financial habits and, you're trying to create security for you and your loved ones, but also I feel like you're being very resourceful, locking off, like a safety fund, or a rainy day fund there as well, if the opportunity allows. I feel it could be a small amount of money, but it's still a small amount of money. Now, for some of you, it could also be that you get a surprise tax rebate, okay, that brings in a little bit of extra money, or perhaps even something that you did a long time ago that is a residual or a back payment on something, because you're starting the reading with the Knight of Pentacles. And then you're going to the Queen of Pentacles. So it seems like some extra money is coming your way, whether it is in terms of a small investment increase, or, if you do things like dividends or acquisitions, stocks and shares. I don't know anything about that, so always seek financial advice regarding that. But it can be that, you may have a small win, but also the Tower is there. So, there could be a small dip in one area and a win in another. Okay, that balances things out. Also, because the Tower is a construct, it can be that you are seeking financial advice in order to structure your finances in a certain way. I would say don't take risks with advice. I would say get proper advice and, someone who's qualified to help you with a structure, because there may be a mistake or a misstep that you'll have to revisit. I mean, the Tower can indicate that may make you a little bit frustrated, but you can get out of it, whatever it is, because the Fool card is there. But don't take a chance with your money, I guess, is what the message is saying there. But you know best. You know your finances and your situation. We got the Three of Cups, though, which is all about celebration. It's about sharing knowledge, sharing, a moment. So if you work as a team, this could be a team win going on for you. For some of you, if you're in like a lottery syndicate, I don't really ever talk like this, but my guides are saying it. If you're in a lottery syndicate at your working environment, could be a small win. If you do a lottery or a syndicate with other people, that's where the win is. So if you do lottery on your own, for example, maybe that's not a win for you this time round, but maybe next time round. But I feel, in group activity, shared syndicates, things like that. But for some of you, if you work for yourself, this could be that you find a team of people that you really get on with and you work really well with, and you can outsource some of the things that you need to do financially, whether it's like an accountant, for example, or a tax advisor, or someone who can, help you and be a relief, as it were, to take the extra work off. I mean, for some of you, it could be that you're reaching out to like an online PA or some sort of organizational service that helps you just streamline your work. For some of you, it could be like an internet social media platform that helps get your message out there and builds and fosters a relationship with your customers or clients there as well. Because I feel like you have a platform where you're serious about what you do, you're really good at what you do, and you get your message out there. People in positions of authority or people who can make a difference in your industry are noticing, and you will celebrate this. Three Cups, is a great card because it basically means that, there is a little bit of luck on your side and some extra finances come in, and something that you would term a win comes on in for you, and you're going to love it. Okay. Now, also for some of you, I feel this is about you kind of being invited to either a networking event or there's some sort of work event that perhaps you're organizing or a part of that you will attend. And this could put you in a position to hear some gossip in your industry. Just be a little bit mindful if anyone's trying to bring you into some gossip. For some of you, it could be embellished. So there may be a part of it that's true, but another part of it that's not true. Don't get involved in that, because if you do, of course, then walls have ears, and it could be someone who is a bit of a snitch who's going to go back to the actual person and say, Leo is there too, and they were saying this. So just be a little bit mindful, okay, because you may be shocked as to who this person is, but that's coming back there as well. And even if you work on your own, if you go to a networking event and you're like, oh, I tried this service, and they're like, oh, they're really awful, or they're this, that, and the other, you could actually be talking to someone who works in that business or someone who is connected or affiliated with that business. And it may not go well for you later on if that gets back to them. So just be a little bit mindful. Even if the service is shoddy, just say, you know what, I've worked with them, and, I feel there could be some improvements, so that they could really expand their reach, or they could really foster a better relationship in this area. When you're diplomatic, then it will go back to the person and they're like, okay, that's fair. That is fair. I dealt with Leo, and yeah, we misstepped, or we did something, and that was actually really fair of them to say, rather than really shoot down their business. Everyone's trying, and everyone's trying to be inspired. We all have an off day, but if it's something that is ongoing, then perhaps it's something that they really need to look at. And it doesn't have to be that it's you that tells them how to do it, but at the same time, you may be in some sort of experience over the next coming weeks where there is a bit of discourse and gossip in and around something, and it just feels like you diplomatically deal with something, and the way that you deal with it impresses people, and they want to kind of work with you more. So that's something that's coming out, okay? So I have to leave it like that. So let's get to your final cards, my beautiful Leo, see what else is going on there for you. We have maturing, so growing affluence. That's definitely true, because you have that Knight of Pentacles moving to a Queen of Pentacles, growing in your industry. Even if you're deciding you're not leaving a position, it can be that, you're growing where you're planted. Right now, you're investing in tools and knowledge in order to staircase and be really seen in your industry. And we've also got overcoming something. So we've got maturing, So pushing forward, focus on your commitments, and it says growing affluence. I mean, your finances will be growing, that's for sure. You're moving on up, diversifying power, benefits, strength, gain, and authority. I've already mentioned that in your reading, so another deck is clarifying there that you will be growing in whatever it is that you're doing, have more responsibility or authority there as well. And we've got overcome, so overcoming any challenges. It says beating financial struggles. You must change your tack, fight, adapt, and conquer. So a lot of you, maybe doing something differently in order to streamline the way you're working, but also conquer a financial obstacle. The door to more, I feel, is opening for you, and the way that you work is transforming, but it feels like you're adapting to something that is going to benefit you long term, that you'll celebrate these implemented changes. At first, it may be the fly in the ointment, like, oh, I got to do something different, or I got to do this, and it just feels like clunky. I've also got to do the other stuff that I normally do. So it may feel like it's extra work, but when it becomes streamlined, then you celebrate it and you're like in the flow again, okay? So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or a rune before we close. Okay. So, also, if you'd like to be with a chance to win a free personal reading from me, all you have to do is put an emoji of a candle in the comments box below, and my guides will draw me to one subscriber's name, and I'll announce the winner at the end of September. Now, if you don't have access to an emoji candle, then just write the word candle, okay? Because, of course, the world needs more light. That's why I'm asking for a candle. So important at this time. Play your favorite song, raise your vibrations, light a candle safely if you can as well in real time. Only if you have a moment, but I see that you're going to be super busy, so maybe you won't have a moment. But, the world definitely needs more light, okay? So I will leave that there. Now, finally, we have a bat. Okay, now the bat can be that, you are sensing your environment and feel that perhaps something is a little bit off, which I feel some of you are maybe keeping an eye on something, or maybe you feel someone is doing something they shouldn't be in the working environment, and you may be just taking notes, or even being a whistleblower, or confronting someone and diplomatically dealing with it. But also the bat can indicate that you're looking at anything that drains your energy or is not worth your time to help you advance at this time, or maybe even projects that you can sideline and come back to at a later date, so you can conserve your energy and pool it into things that matter or that bring you money or reward in some way, okay? And also we got the compass, which is all about direction, focused on, advancing and moving ahead at this time. And some of you, because there's a lot of travel and change there, it can be that you're thinking of migrating or looking at where you feel like you belong in the working sector, or really just checking in with yourself to see where you feel like you are on your journey right now and where you want to take things to next, okay? So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates. Thank you so much, my beautiful Leo, and love and light.